harvested mangoes in delivery boxes. So certain factors are running clearly in his mind. To optimize the cost and the profit in packaging, the mangoes must be properly packed in boxes of similar sizes. So to systemize counting, there must also be equal number of mangoes in the boxes. We must also consider that mango fruits are fragile and must be packaged properly to avoid spoilage and damage to the fruits. So what are the options which will be best achieve the worker's goal? So in this situation, it illustrates how factoring techniques can help in problem solving and how they can be applicable in real life situations. So it says here down na a worker wants to pack 200 newly harvested mangoes in delivery boxes. But then, since the mango fruits are fragile and must be packed properly to avoid spoilage and damage to the fruits, we need to optimize or we need to properly pack the mangoes in boxes of similar sizes to optimize daw ang cost niya ug ang profit sa packaging. So, in your first activity, you need to answer the following in a separate sheet of paper. So, these are the options by which the worker can pick his goods for delivery. First is four one big box for all. Wait, one big box for all of the mangoes. For all the 200, okay. One big box for all the 200 mangoes. Second is two boxes with 100 mangoes each. Four boxes with 50 mangoes each. Eight boxes with 25 mangoes each. 10 boxes with 20 mangoes each, and so on. So if you were the worker, which option would you consider? Which option would entail the less expense but best result? So unsa daw ang option nga best kaayo para malist ang expense sa worker? So you need to answer that one in a separate sheet of paper. That is for your activity first or activity 1. So for analyze and explore, factoring refers to the algebraic expression showing a product of factors, which when multiplies together will still produce an original expression. Or in other words, it is like splitting into products of simpler combinations. So factoring daw is like splitting into products of simpler combination. Now, whenever ato ang i-multiply ang duha, we will still get or we will still produce the original expression. So, calculating long and complicated operations of numbers may seem confusing or difficult. So, to make the process easier, certain formulas called special products may be applied. So some products of polynomials can be evaluated and simplified without going through the whole multiplication process in the application of distributive properties. So now we're going to use the distributive property gamit kay na aning lesson. So see how special product formulas may be extended to the following polynomials. So you're going to evaluate each expression as quickly as you can. So first, 5 squared minus 4 squared is equal to pila. You can answer. Okay, I will give you an example. So it says here na square 5. So si 5 kaduhaon nato siya. So 5 times 5. So 5 times 5, pila? It is 25. Minus 4 times 4, that is 16. So 25 minus 16 is equal to pila? 25 minus 16 is equal to 9. Sige, take note mo. Second, 15 raised to the power of 2. So, kaduhaon na to si 15. So, 15 times 15, use your calculator, 15 times 15 is equal to 225. Minus 5 times 5 is equal to 25. So, that is 200. Question. Do you have any question? Okay, for number 3. 3 raised to the power of 2. So, 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 3 times 4, 12. Times 2 is 24. Plus 4 squared is equal to 16. So 16 plus 24 plus 9 is equal to 49. So this is how you're going to answer this one. Do you have any question? Yes, very good. If none, I will going to proceed. So the product of polynomial and a monomial. So this special product is easy to derive and formulate. The distributive property is used to multiply the factors. To do this, the term in the monomial is multiplied by each term in the polynomial. So study the following example and see how the distributive property is applied and how each product is simplified. So we have here an equation which is 1/5 x multiplied to the quantity of 25x plus 10y minus 5. So first step is you're going to distribute this one. So 1 over 5 will be distributed to 25x, to 10y, and to negative 5. So just like this one. Muna na yung itsura. Okay, so 1 over 5 x multiplied to 25x, that is 5x squared. Why? Because 25 times 1 is 25, divided by 5 is 5. And x times x will be x squared. So next, 1 over 5x multiplied to 10y. So 10 times 1 is equal to 10, divided by 5 is 2. Then multiply x and y. So we have here 2xy. The last one is 1 over 5x multiplied to negative 5. So negative 5 multiplied to 1 is negative 5. Divided by 5 is negative 1. X, multiply na to dire, wala man siya variable, so as is. Since we all know na kaning 1 is na maging always tapad sa x, okay na siya nato tantangon kay always mo na imaginary nga 1 diya sa tapad sa x. Okay, so the final answer of this equation is 5x squared plus 2xy minus x. A second example, a times the quantity of 2x minus y plus b times the quantity of x minus 2y. So first step is you're going to distribute a to 2x and negative y. So just like this one. And the next one is letter b. The b will be multiplied to x and negative 2y. So here's the result. So ato isa-isahon, a multiplied to 2x is equal to 2ax. So gi-arrange na ang variable from a to z. Since a man ang una, mo itong unahon. Plus a times negative y. Since negative man siya, multiplied to positive, that will be negative. So copy the variable from a to z again. So we have here ay minus ay. Next is for b multiplied to x. That will be bx. And lastly is b multiplied to negative 2y. That would be negative 2by. So the final answer of this equation is 2ax minus ay plus bx minus 2by. Okay, for your another activity, we're going to research about operations of integers. Okay ra siya encoded or sinulat as long as maka-research mo ani because this is so important. Okay, next. Next topic could be the product of two binomials. So a binomial is a polynomial with two terms. So in finding the product of two binomials, you're going to use the FOIL method. That is, you're going to multiply each term of the first binomial by each term of the second binomial. So FOIL stands for the product of the first term, which is the f, this one, f. So look at this equation, ax plus b multiplied to cx plus d. So the first terms are ax and cx. So we have here the ax and cx plus the product of the outer terms. So the outer terms here are ax and d. So here ax and d. Then plus the product of the inner terms. So the inner terms are b and cx. So b and cx plus the product of the last term. So the last terms are b and d. So ax plus cx, ax, cx. So a and c, wala siya kaparehas, but si x multiplied to x, that would be x squared. So we have acx squared. Next is ax multiplied to d. So wala siya kaparehas. Let's just arrange this from a to z. So a dx plus this one, wala po siya kaparehas. Same process sa first one here. The other one I mean. So bcx. And lastly, b times d. So copy lang gihapon na to, b times d. So the final equation is acx squared plus adx plus bcx plus bd. So here, study the following examples. Let's see how the FOIL method is applied and how the like terms are combined in the product. So like terms refer to the terms with the same constant, the same variable, and respective powers. So that is like terms or similar terms with the same constant, variable, and respective powers. So example, with the quantity of 4x plus 3 multiplied to the quantity of 5x plus 4. So by using the FOIL method, f for first, so we have here 4x multiplied to 5x plus O, which is outer. So 4x multiplied to 4 plus the I, which are the inner variables and numbers. So 3 multiplied to 5x, and lastly the outers, ID last terms, which are 4 and 3. So simplify the following. So 4x multiplied to 5x, that would be 5 times 4 is 20. X times x is x squared. So 20x squared. Next, 4 times 4 is 16 times x, that is 16x. Plus 3 times 5, 15 times x, 15x. And the last one is 3 times 4, that is 12. Okay. So since, as you can see, there are like terms, nice same terms or similar terms, which are 16x and 15x. So i-multiply na to, i-plus na to si 15 and si 16, since the same man ang ilang variable, which is si x. So multiply 15 plus 16 is equal to 31x. So we have here the final answer, which is 20x squared plus 31x plus 12. Next. So P with the quantity of P squared minus Q multiplied to the quantity of A cubed minus 2B. So FOIL method, F, the first terms, which is P squared and A cubed, outer, the outer, which are P squared and 2B, negative 2B, the inner, which is negative Q and A cubed, and lastly, the last terms, which are negative Q and negative 2B. So simplify the following. P squared and A cubed, just arrange lang sila kaya wala mo sila yung same terms. So from A to Z, since A mo ay una, so A ato ikuan. But then, still mag-differ siya sa iyang exponent. Once ganit dako ang iyang exponent, maunay atong unahon. Always remember na. So A cubed, P squared, plus na pod, P squared multiplied to negative 2B. Since this is negative, so negative atong gamiton. Negative 2B P squared. Negative 2B P squared. Next, negative Q and A cube. So, negative A cube Q plus the negative Q times negative 2B. Since same sila negative, the answer would be positive. So that would be 2BQ. So the final answer of this equation is A cubed P squared minus 2BP squared minus A cubed Q plus 2BQ. Okay, we only have 10 minutes left. So the square of a binomial. The two binomials are multiplied. So two binomials are multiplied. The result is called a binomial product. So the square of a binomial is perfect square trinomial. So this is an example. It's an example of perfect square trinomial. So for squaring a binomial, for the square of a binomial, we have here three steps. The first step is you're going to square the first term. So this is the first term, which is a, and the second term is b. So it says here that you're going to square the first term. So a raised to the power of 2 plus twice the product of the first and second term. So twice, it means that i-multiply nato sila og kaduha. So magbutang tag 2 here. So 2 multiplied to the product of the first and second term daw. So the first term is A and the second term is B. So we have here 2AB. And lastly is square the last term. So the last term is B. So we're going to square the last term. So that would be B squared. Same process as the second one. If we have negative sign, so square the first term, but then ma-change lang yan sign there sa ikaduha niyang term, which is ma-minus na siya. Minus twice the product of the first and second term plus square of the last term. So you can also apply the FOIL method here to verify the special products. So for much easier na pag-answer ninyo, just use this equation na lang. You're just going to identify the first term and the second term and just change the variables here. Oh. So for example, this one, simplify each term. So we have here the quantity of mn plus 5 raised to the power of 2. So the first term here is mn. So just copy the mn to the equation. So ilisan na to si a og mn raised to the power of 2 plus copy si 2. Then the first term na po si mn, gilisan na to si a. And si b, ato na pong gilisan siya, which is si 5 ang ato ang second term. Plus 5, which is ang atong last term, which is si b. Si b na to is si 5 man, so atong a square si 5. So, simplify mn raised to the power of 2. Distribute si exponent. So, exponent na 2 will be multiplied to m and si n na pod. So, we have here m squared, n squared plus 5 times 2. That would be 10. And copy the variable which is mn. Plus the square of the last term which is 5 squared. 5 squared is equal to 25. So our final answer here is m squared, n squared plus 10 mn plus 25. Second example, 2p plus 6 raised to the power of 2. So our first term is 2p. So here 2p, dilisan na po nato si a plus 2. Si 2p na po itong gibutang and our second term is si 6. So atong gilisan si 6 and the last term here will be squared which is si 6. So next is we're going to simplify the terms. 2p raised to the power of 2 is 2 times 2 is 4. P times p is p squared. So 4p squared plus 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. And next na po, multiply na to kay 2. 12 times 2 is 24. Copy the variable. So we have here 24p. And the last one is 6 squared. 6 raised to the power of 2 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. So the final answer is 4p squared plus 24p plus 36. Okay, next. The product of the sum and difference of two terms. recall the product sa difference of two terms is equal to difference of two squared. So we have here an example equation of the product of sum and difference of two terms. So this is the sum and this is the difference. So kung i-multiply na to ang positive and negative with the same variables which is si A lang and si B, directly you're going to square the first term and the second term, and the sign that you're going to use is negative. So is A squared minus B squared. So that would be the formula for finding the product of sum and difference of two terms. So study this example. The quantity of 2x plus 5 multiplied to the quantity of 2x minus 5. The same variable, the same number, 2x, 2x, 5, 5, but ang iyaharang sign mo ay naglahi. So, diri na siya sa product of sum and difference. So, it says here that the first term, you're going to square the first term and the second term. So, our first term here is 2x. So, we square na to si 2x. We've come up to an answer which is 4q squared. Okay, 2 raised to the power of 2 or 2 times 2 is 4. And x times x is x squared. And the last term is 5 squared. So 5 times 5 is 25. So we have here 25. Since the sign is negative, copy the negative sign. So the final answer is 4x squared minus 25. Another example, MP minus Q multiplied to MP plus Q. Same process. Square the first term. MP raised to the power of 2 minus square of the last term, which is Q. Q squared. So distribute the exponent 2 to M and P. So M squared times P squared minus Q squared. So that is the answer of the second example. So for your activity, we're going to find the product of the following expression using special product formulas. So you're going to solve this one using the FOIL method, the distributive method, and this one, the sum, the product of sum and difference, and the square of a binomial. So next, the cube of a binomial. So there are some steps again here. Just read this part. Read lang ninyo para masabtan ninyo. And here are the formulas. So for the cube of a binomial, with the quantity of a plus b raised to the power of 3 or cube. So you're going to cube the first term, thrice the product of the square of the first term. So gisquare na to si first term, which is si A, and multiply to B, plus thrice the product of the first term and the square of the second term. So our second term is B. So atong gisquare si B, plus cube of the last term, which is si B. So cube of the last term. So we got we've got the equation which is a cube plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. The same as this one, the same ani which is negative. So a minus b raised to the power of cube or 3. So ang mag-change lang niya is ang sign niya sa negative 3a squared b and sa iyang negative b cubed. So always remember that a plus b raised to the power of 3 is not equal to a cube plus b cube. So dili siya pwede i-distribute lang diretso si 3 kay a o si 3 kay b. Dapat gamitan siya FOIL method or you're going to use this formula of the cube of a binomial. So study these following examples. We have here x squared plus 3 raised to power